Welcome to another episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Well, hello. This is Cindy, your host over at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you go to YouTube and follow me at wherecindynow.com at Bucket List Coach Web Show, what I want you to do is I want you to subscribe. I want you to comment on this video. And when you share this very video, either to LinkedIn or Facebook, I'll gift you a 5-night hotel stay. So basically just a couple $100. I cover the hotel and you cover the tax. So this show is all about making the most of the dash. So we have the day that we're born and the day that we pass away. What are you doing to make that most of the dash? And a big plug to National Day Calendar. Celebrate everyday earrings. So tomorrow is National Radio Day. Today is actually National Aviation Day. And in November is National Aviation History Day or History Month. So actually coming up at 1:00, I have 4 of my aviation geeks on the show. So make sure you tune on 1:00 Pacific. So first off, let's go with Chris with nationaldaycalendar.com. What's so special today as we're going to be celebrating today and tomorrow for National Radio Day?
Thanks, Cindy. Yeah. So National Radio Day, we really don't know who came up with the idea, but August 20th is when the first commercial radio broadcast happened. So that's kind of how it evolved from there. You know, everyone says that Marconi is the one that invented the radio, but really you go back to an old German scientist, Heinrich Hertz, where we get the hertz and megahertz from.
Yeah.
You know, he proved that you could transmit electricity music. Electricity could go wireless. So he was a founder of wireless. And then Nikola Tesla, he wanted to do wireless electricity all over the place. So he invented the Tesla coil. So all of those things led up to Marconi coming up with the first commercially viable radio system. As a matter of fact, I think in 1920, there was a station in Pennsylvania. They broadcast the election returns for the presidential race that year on the radio. That was the first time anybody had ever heard anything like that on the radio. But yeah, today we honor the first commercial radio broadcast and just celebrate radio. I mean, there's so many great songs. I mean, radio was the first. It was before Spotify and before Amazon Music. I mean, it's where we got our music. It's where we got our shows. If you look back, my wife's favorite movie is A Christmas Story. And Ralphie is running home so he can listen to the Little Orphan Annie radio hour and get his codes for his Ovaltine. So people grew up with this stuff, and it's still there. It's in our cars. It's online. It's in space. So there's just so many reasons to celebrate today, and I think music makes me happy, and I think it's just a reason just gives us another excuse to just celebrate.
Well, now we have Jennifer Jones-Lee, the KFI radio show every single Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. hour. So kind of tell Chris all about you, and also let's tell my audience once again what you do and how you just add amazing aloha to the airwaves.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad he said aloha because I found the only shirt that I have that's got a little Hawaiian flair to it. So sending you a little aloha this morning. But
Thank you.
So I've been in radio 30 years this year, and I know it's hard to believe I started when I was like 5, right? But no, so it's been a great run. And actually, Chris, I'm glad you mentioned music because even though I do talk radio, that's where I started, was in music. And I was 17 and I went into a radio station in Reading, and I had my little resume of like babysitting and whatever. And I said, well, I'm here to apply to be a secretary. And they said, oh, honey, literally, honey, you're not qualified to be a secretary. And he goes, but you got a cool voice. You want to be on the air instead? And that launched my radio career, which was at a country music station. And I fronted a country band at the time, which was great. And so I loved it and I knew all the stuff. But my love of music is what actually got me into talk radio, because had it not been for that, I wouldn't have started writing like the news for my college English class. Then I would write it for the morning show, Well, then that got me into writing news. And then 30 years later, here I am, a talk show host from 5 to 6. Wake Up Call is my show on KFI. And then from 6 to 10, I'm Bill Handel's news anchor. And for me, radio, like the history of radio, is so paramount to kind of my entire career. I was fortunate. My first big station, I guess you could call it, was KFBK in Sacramento. That station is celebrating 100 years next month. And KFI just celebrated 100 years 2 months ago. So both of these heritage stations, I felt so fortunate to have been a part of. One sort of, helping to launch my career, and another one where I've sort of, you feel like you make it to the KFI, you've made it in the business. So, you get to play with all the big dogs here. And it's been an awesome run. And I think the way that radio has changed over the years has been so crazy. Like when I started out in little dinky Reading, and, Chris, you probably know this as far as the reel to reel, and we were cutting tape and, you'd have the little razor out and the grease pencil and you were taping it back together to do commercials and things. And you went from that to carts, which kind of looked like little 8-track cassettes, and you would record everything on those. And then you went to digital recording, which is what we all do now, where in, 2 minutes, I can, write a script, record it, edit it really fast with just my, mouse and a click of a keystroke or something like that. And the way that it has changed just in 30 years, which I know sounds like a long time, but seems like forever to me. I think even that is a celebration in and of itself.
Mm.
So let's talk about what we're going to do tomorrow to celebrate National Radio Day.
Chris, go for it.
Well, I'm going to be working on my music playlists. At National Day Calendar, we have our own radio station, National Day Radio. It's nationaldaycalendar.com/listen. And I am in charge of all the music and all the historical pieces that we put up. Like tomorrow, we're going to be running a few little pieces that talk about the history of National Radio Day. And we just try to find songs that are happy and positive and they celebrate. Just make you want to get up and dance. And so tomorrow, on Saturday, I'm just going to go through my old playlists and kind of clean up my music library at home. I don't really do any National Day work on the weekends, but I like to do that. I just sit around and I'll probably listen to the radio station tomorrow too, and just generally just hang.
Yeah.
Chill. Yeah. Jennifer.
I think usually what we all do is on National Radio Day, all my friends and I'm so close to the girls that I was with at KFBK. They were in my wedding. We're all still super, super close, and we credit radio with our friendship. So a lot of times what we do on National Radio Day is it'll be whoever wakes up first will post the oldest picture that they can find of all of us working together, or all of us at a radio station, all when we were nice and young and had no wrinkles and were skinny and all of that back day. So it's always kind of fun just to look back and see like where we were back then and where we are now. And it's just fun. It's fun to see how everybody's grown. And it's always amazes me how many people got out of the business and how few of us are actually still in it. Like that's just also sort of testament to how the industry has shrunk over the last, 3 decades that I've been in it. And it's like, I'm glad that there are days like National Radio Day because it's still so prevalent, Chris, like you were saying, with the history and everything in everybody's lives every single day, that it's hard to believe how small this industry is right now. And so, those of us who are still in it, we still feel very fortunate that we get to sort of live out our passion. And, people say like, oh, radio's dying, or, oh, if you're not streaming, you're not this or that. The conventional radio stations are streaming now, which is awesome. And we've seen our audiences grow like you can't believe based on that. Sometimes you'll look at, especially working on an AM station that has no FM, you think, how are you going to survive in an FM streaming world? Very easily. You just, for us, turn on the iHeart app, and then you go to KFI and people are streaming us. I get emails from people in, Australia and Florida and Tennessee in the mornings that just say, hey, I love listening to your show because it's fun. And like you were saying, Chris, positive and energetic. I think that that's the key to keeping radio around is, even though we, on KFI, we've got to deliver the bad news because we're the news station on the radio. at the same time, how can you keep it positive and light and keep it coming across like I'm your neighbor who knocked on the door with a pot of coffee and said, hey, let's sit down and talk about what happened overnight, versus like, hello, I'm, one of the old school radio announcers, and I'm about to tell you about the murder and mayhem that went on in the world. I think the evolution of radio and even delivery in radio is what has kept it around for so long. So tomorrow, I think within the pictures, we celebrate kind of what goes on behind the scenes. And it just makes you stop and think about the evolution of radio over all this time, and kind of exciting to where's it going to go from here. We never thought back in the day when we were cutting tape and that sort of thing, we'd be digital someday. And here we are.
Mhm.
Well, this is my next question. One of my travel agents actually runs KCAA, and he approached me to have my own bucket list radio. So I'm like, I don't do radio, I do video.
No,
So that's actually going to start in the new year. That's my brand new bucket list for the beginning of the year. So Jennifer and then Chris, give me some advice on how I could have a successful radio show.
be you. Be 100% Cindy. That's all everybody wants, is they want to know you, and they want to know the good and the bad, but the more positive that you can bring to somebody's life, which is what you bring. I mean, you are so positive on your podcast, on all of the emails that you get. The more you that you can be, because that's what people want. They want authenticity. They don't want somebody who's an actor on the radio. They want somebody who's just here to tell you a story. And if you liked a place, they want to know about it. If you didn't like a place, they want to know about it, or, whatever. That's my biggest advice, is it's the easiest one. Just be yourself.
But what an amazing next chapter of my life to be on radio.
Yeah.
It's been my dream to do what I'm doing, and I'm at this point, and here in another few months, I'm at the next level of my business. How about you, Chris? What's your best advice for me?
I would say, I've always thought of, I wouldn't say find a gimmick, but try to be consistent in what you do. I mean, you do the bucket show stuff. You talk about how people can live life to their fullest and fill out their bucket lists. One thing we like to do is we tie the National Day Radio into, we're doing a kind of a weekly podcast video thing on Facebook with another one of our guys, Doug, out of Iowa. And what we try to do is we just chat. We don't script it. We just say, okay, what day is it today? And let's just talk about that day. And then I like to throw in little snippets of songs about the day. I mean, that's one thing everyone says is I have this savant quality of being able to say,
Yes.
oh, it's National Potato Day, so let's find all the songs about potatoes. And
Yeah.
I mean, heck, Sunday is coming up. It's National Spumoni Day. I found a song from Annette Funicello.
No way.
Singing about spumoni.
Really? That's great.
So, yeah, it just, because it ties everything back, and it's like, it's fun.
And not only that, but the How to Be a Referral Rockstar book that I'm making, actually half of the book is me going through national days, national weeks, and everything to not only build your business, but build relationships. If it's National Taco Day, stop by a local taqueria, so you're paying it forward to their business. And then you go to a realtor's office, say they have 20 or 50 people, then you drop off the tacos. And then on National Donut Day, you stop by a local radio station. How about that? Make a difference.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're giving us the donuts. That's the best part too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have about 7 minutes left. Anything else you want to talk about? And then I could kind of go into some more questions.
Well,
Chris, it's up to you.
Well, let's see. I have a song. I think
Okay.
we'll try to do a little snippet here. I'm going to try and see if my audio is still working. But
Okay.
I mean, this is when you said you were doing a National Radio Day. This is the first song that came to my mind. Let's see if I can get it playing here.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
from the band Autograph.
Wow, that
That's
brings
awesome.
back some days.
There, I got to turn the virtual output on.
Oh,
Off.
yeah. Think
Otherwise,
back
you're going to hear me twice.
dance right there. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like, it also, I was putting together a kind of a playlist, and let's see if it's, I wonder if it's backing. Oh, hold on. Okay. Too much feedback. Sorry. I think that's right. Oh, anyway, I have to do a certain thing on my computer here in order to get all those songs out onto StreamYard. So it gets a bit complex, but Saturday Night Live, Elvis Costello had a song called Radio Radio.
Oh, yeah.
And one of his first appearances on SNL, he was told by his record company and the producers, do not play that song. So he started playing one song, and then he stopped. And then he played Radio Radio. It got him kicked off of SNL for quite a while, because the song was all about, it's a satirical song about the commercialization of radio and how it was evil.
Nice.
And nobody wanted that. It was the 70s.
That's great.
Well, this is the best part of when I have Chris and crew on. So being a National Day Calendar ambassador, I'm going to tell you my story, and then Chris will tell you why you need to be an ambassador. So I've been sharing National Day Calendar probably since 2015 or 16, and I actually reached out to them a couple years ago. I'm sharing your stuff almost every day. Do you have some kind of program? Like, yes, we have a celebration ambassador program. And it has been so amazing because I use certain national days like Popcorn Day, Donut Day, Taco Day, Brownie Day, Blonde Brownie Day. Because with my client retention gratitude business, we actually have all these different gifts that we could send people based on the national day. So that's why I'm adding National Day as a part of my book, because you do not know where those relationships are going to go. And especially for me, who's connected to the community, like National Nonprofit Day was just a couple days ago. And I had the Surfrider Foundation on. We do beach cleanups, ocean-friendly restaurants. And I also have a etiquette company on. And she's teaching young people in teenage years how to do etiquette, like surf etiquette and general life etiquette, social media etiquette. So you never know who you're going to meet, but it's all based on because of my love that I have for National Day Calendar, because I implement that into my everyday life. So basically, you just go to the National Day Calendar website. I'll send you the link on email. You fill it out. Let me know when you fill it out, and then I'll just reach out to National Day Calendar. So it's pretty amazing. What do you like to say about that, Chris, on why Jennifer needs to be an ambassador?
I just think that I love coming to work every day. And it's like, because one thing I've worked in politics, I worked in government, constituent service out in Washington, D.C. And one thing I've always said is that on my epitaph, I want it to be said that I made a difference in someone's life. That's kind of my ultimate goal at the end of the day, that I made a difference. And I've had some instances where, yes, I've made a difference in somebody's life. But here at National Calendar, we can make a difference in so many more lives. People, they use our calendar to get through tough times. I mean, it's just an excuse to forget about the drudgery and everything that might be bad happening to you, and just find a reason to smile. And one of the reasons that I really like this place is I've known Marlo Anderson for a number of years, and I was on his old radio show. And
oh wow,
I think it's such a great place to work, and I love learning all about the national days. I've been following them for years, and now to be part of it is it's great.
Wow. Well, thank you for being a part of it. I'm very grateful for you. Jennifer, what do you think about National Day Calendar, implementing that in your life as an ambassador?
I actually, you guys are selling me on this hugely this morning. So, but yeah, it's funny, Chris, the way that you would say that it would help you get through stuff. I use the National Day Calendar in two ways. I use it to connect with my audience, because we'll talk about, today is whatever, National Peanut Butter Day or whatever day. And we start talking about it. And occasionally people will be like, oh, hey, you got to have my mom's recipe or something. And they email, and it creates this connection between me and, tens of thousands of people that are out there that I love, because they feel like they know me, but I don't know who's out there. So it gives me an opportunity to connect with them. So it's a little selfish on my part, but I enjoy meeting the people. And then as far as the crew goes, if it's a certain day where it's something like, I know, somebody on my show really likes whatever the day happens to be, chocolate chip cookies. then I'll bring chocolate chip cookies in as a way that we can all just have fun. And it's just a little like, it's like a little hug, like, hey, I know you like this, and today it's National Day, so we're celebrating the cookie, but we're also celebrating your love of it. So I like the way that it's just, again, it's happy, it's positive, it's just all fun stuff that helps you connect person to person, which I think is really what we need. More of that is what we need.
Yeah, it's surprising you mentioned that because I've got my Celebrate Every Day gear on.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And you just go nationaldaycalendar.com, check our store. We got plenty of stuff. And I was actually I had gotten off work. It was last week, and we went out to a restaurant, and I was wearing my shirt. I hadn't changed because this is my uniform. And walking along, and then all of a sudden somebody shouts at me, "Happy National Sons and Daughters Day." And I'm like, huh? And then, nope, she saw my shirt.
Oh,
and got to visit with her a little bit later and said, well, it's also National Kinetic Sand Day because she had her kids there. And she works at a daycare, and they've just started incorporating the national days with their kids. And it's like just a random person in Bismarck said, I saw your shirt. How you doing?
That's fantastic.
I'm going to pull up your page as well. So really quickly, what are some of the things that you're going to do this weekend to pay it forward to a complete stranger?
Oh, I love this part of it. So this is one of my favorite things that you do on your show. And I thought about this last time that we were on there because I was like, oh, I'll pay for somebody, in line at Starbucks. Nah. So then this time around, I think what I want to do is I want to just connect. I'm kind of into this connecting with people thing right now. And I just want to say hello to the person who doesn't make eye contact with you, because sometimes that's the person that needs the love more than anybody. Is just, maybe they're having a down day, and it's your opportunity just to say like, hey, I see you, and I want you to know that somebody says hi and somebody cares. So that's kind of my very basic, but I kind of want to do like a ground floor kind of thing this time.
Chris.
A lot of times when I'm paying it forward to a stranger, it's just spur of the moment. So I really don't plan them out. You like say, just the other day, I went through the drive-through McDonald's, and they said the person in front of you paid for your food.
I love it.
So I said, okay, I'll pay for the food for the person behind me, and you start a chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's just stuff like that. You see somebody standing on the side of the road holding a sign. It's like, oh, I bought 2 sandwiches. I don't need 2. Here, have a sandwich.
Yeah. Exactly. That was last weekend. There was a couple that had just gotten in a car crash, and people were passing them around and go and say, hey, how can I help? And it literally did nothing but hold this older woman who was standing there. And I think I got more out of it than she did, because it made me feel like I gave some love to somebody who needed it in the moment. And I loved that.
Well, what I like to do, and I do this almost every week, is when I go to Trader Joe's or I go to Costco, I tell myself I'm going to pick 20 people that I say hi to. And a lot of people, believe it or not, just keep on walking. They don't even say hi. But when you compliment them on what they're wearing, like they're wearing a smile, or they have a nice outfit or nice shoes, or say they have nice nails, it's so important, because you do not know what they're dealing with. Say they had a fight with their spouse, or they just lost their job. So the littlest things can definitely be the most. And then the next part of the show, before we chime out, who would you like to shout out today? Jennifer.
I would like to shout out my realtor. I know this sounds silly, but way TMI, but I'm going through a divorce. I've had to sell my house, buy a house, all this kind of craziness within the last couple of weeks. My realtor, Justin Worsham at Von Keith, is way more than a realtor. He's just been a friend. And you know how sometimes you have that go-to guy that you're calling at, 5 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, whatever it happens to be. Anyway, he just deserves some love, because he's been, like I said, I've been more than a client. He's been a friend, and just kudos to that guy.
Well, let's meet over the weekend, and on me, we'll send him a nice little gift in the mail.
I would love that. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll drop you an email after this, and then we'll schedule a time. Chris, who would you like to pay it forward to?
Well, I think just my wife. She's been in Seattle twice in the last couple of weeks. Her mother's been really ill, and I don't want to be a downer, but things aren't looking too good. And she's coming back tonight late, and she's just been taking so much on. She's an only child. Her mom lives in Seattle. Her mom's partner's there and doing yeoman's work, trying to keep things in line. But I think that she's the one that just needs something this weekend, and I got to do something nice for her. And it's overwhelming, and I know she's doing a lot, and just want to give her a heads up and say we love you.
Oh, yes. Send her my love, because I know my mom has dementia. And so I've been dealing with that for most of my life with mental illness. And then also now Lewy body dementia over the last 2 years. So that's really tough. I'm going to do a shout out to both of you. I'm going to start with Jennifer. If it wasn't for you loving National Day Calendar, I probably would have never reached out to you and would have never started this amazing friendship. And listening to you today, and especially when you had the veteran company on, that just warmed my heart. So thank you for paying it forward to veterans. And I'm sorry for what you're going through, but I'm here to make your day, every single day, minute, for the rest of your life, amazing. If you ever need a friend, you know how to get a hold of me. Chris, I am so grateful for you to be a part of the National Day Calendar tribe. You have changed my life in so many ways, and especially when you and Doug come on, and just being a part of the National Day Calendar family. I'm just so grateful for that. It has changed my life, and it's changed my business and my pocketbook. So thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
For you. Thank you.
Thanks. And so any last minute tip on building friendships through National Day Calendar and listening to the radio? And then we'll close out.
One thing I would say is that don't hesitate to reach out to somebody, a random person on social media. When my wife was going through cancer treatments 12 years ago, I stumbled on this person who was talking about, she was a young gal in her 20s who was going through a prophylactic mastectomy because she had tested positive for the BRCA gene. Mm-hmm. And then, long story short, traded information, wound up meeting her and her boyfriend on a trip to Washington, D.C. She now has a beautiful baby girl, and never would have met her if not for that one, hey, I'm going through the same thing. How are you doing?
Exactly. And yeah, so we don't know where relationships will go. And it's so important. For me, I think of 5 people every day that I could express gratitude. And what I've been doing off and on now for like the last 15 years is I'll do a video call to someone, or not video call, video message, like a minute message, letting you know how grateful I am if I just met him at an event, or just random, or especially if it's your birthday, I will go full Marilyn Monroe on you. Actually did it with Doug just a couple days ago.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of that as well.
Yeah. Oh, you have too. Yeah. On National Tape Measure Day of all days.
No, it was National Nude Day.
And Tape Measure Day.
Yes,
wow.
Right.
And I had the new comedian on my podcast. So yeah, it was
I saw that. It was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, we tried to go 20 minutes, but just a lot of stuff I want to cover today. And I'll cut some of these videos and make shorter videos. And really quickly at the end, I always like to do a TikTok video. So you guys ready?
Ready.
Sure.
Here we go. This is Cindy, your host over at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live, Jennifer Jones Lee and Chris. And we are celebrating on the 20th, National Radio Day. In 1 minute, take it away. Tell my audience how you're going to celebrate.
I'm going to celebrate National Radio Day by going online tomorrow, finding the oldest pictures I can of my oldest friends in radio, posting those tomorrow, giving us a little shout out of, the back in the day Cub reporting to now we're all old and, grizzled veterans in this business. But just a shout out to the, men and women along the way in my career that have made this fun, and we've gotten all through it together. And just a shout out to everybody I've grown up with in the business is the way that I can celebrate it.
And shout out your socials, and then we'll go to Chris.
JJLKFI on Twitter and Instagram, Jennifer Jones Lee on Facebook. Follow me. I'd love to meet you.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm just going to blast the 80s music tomorrow. And I sing at the drop of a hat in the house and annoy the hell out of my kid. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. Socials, you can find me at DC MacNut, pretty much anywhere your finer social medias are sold. It's DC MACNUT.
And nationaldaycalendar.com/store. Well, there you go. Well, thank you. I'm going to pop you in a green room if you want to hang tight for 1 minute, and we'll chat for a few. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Woohoo!
Night, have a night. See ya.
Aloha. So make sure that you check out the links here. You could connect with Jennifer Jones-Lee and Chris over at National Day Calendar, and make sure to tune in 1 o'clock. It is National Aviation Day. I got 4 of my aviation geeks, so make sure that you tune in. Shaka, babe. Woohoo!